Friday night, hangout.
Hello,
Creating our stories,
evening.
piece by piece. This is Friday night, hangout. Creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities. Illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night hangout. Ooh, it's Friday night hangout.
Are you feeling stuck in your business, professional, or personal life? Or are you struggling to find purpose and direction? Imagine having a clear sense of direction, achieving your goals, and living a fulfilling life. Joy Onyeso Coaching Consult is here to help you. We will work with you to identify your strengths, overcome obstacles, and develop a personalized plan to achieve your dreams. With our coaching and consulting services, you will gain clarity, confidence, and the tools you need to succeed. Do not let fear, lack of clarity, or doubt hold you back any longer. Take the first step towards achieving your goals and living your best life. Contact Joy Onyeso Coaching Consult today. Joy Onyeso Coaching Consult, empowering you to reach your full potential. Call, SMS, or WhatsApp +234 704 229 1171. Or you can visit our website www.joyonyesocoachingconsult.com. Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of Friday Night Hangout. Woo! Okay, I'm so excited to see everyone. Good evening. I'm your host, Joy Onyeso. This is still season 17, episode 202. Wow, 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 wow. Welcome. One of the things that makes me so excited showing up every Friday is just to see your lovely faces. And knowing that, we come together every Friday to connect, to share. And even if it's one person that shows up, 1,000 persons that show up, I'll be right here as your host. And there's one spectacular thing about tonight's Friday night hangout. I'm live all the way from Doha, Qatar. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're wrapping up the conversation this month on show up, show off. That's the theme with which we started October. Show up, show off. And tonight we're going to be looking at accountability. Accountability. I know we all often hear this, oh, are you accountable? I'm accountable. Now let's unpack that conversation. What is the place of accountability in showing up? Yes. So we're going to be looking at personal accountability tonight. When we talk about accountability, what we are talking about is your ability to take ownership for your actions and decisions. Okay? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Divine. Welcome, Amazing Name, Baoji. Nice to see you here. And every other person, welcome, welcome, welcome. I love to see your TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Yay! I can see Chinelo. Welcome and welcome. We're wrap. Oh, I see Uncle Shirley. Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, it's getting very interesting in here tonight. Yes, don't forget to put your TGIF, your TGIF. Great. I'm so excited because, hey, see my sis is in here too. Bye bye. Yes, yes, yes. Adezo, oh my goodness, it's a full house today. Come on in. Right. I'm so excited because I'm transmitting live all the way from Doha, Qatar. Initially, I wanted to make this a recorded episode, but I just thought about it. I would love to come in live and have that energy from you, right? And this is the last Friday in this amazing, amazing October. And I would love to connect with every one of us here tonight. So we're going to have a good time. Fina! Yay! I'm excited. Okay. So we're talking about accountability. What's the place of accountability in showing up? In showing up. Now, accountability is you taking ownership of your decisions or and your actions, right? There's certain times we don't want to take decisions. We don't want to take ownership of the decisions we've made. We just keep pushing it up there, pushing it to this person is because of that person. You have lots of excuses. You just keep having excuses. Oh, why didn't this one happen? It didn't happen because of that, because of this. There will be so many excuses other than you being culpable for it not happening. And that's what I want us to look at today. Let's look at the whole scenario of accountability. Let's look at the key elements of accountability tonight. We're also going to look at the benefits of accountability and then how can we take actions to ensure that we remain accountable. At a time like this, is very important if you're talking about growth, either in your area of business, either in your profession, or even as an individual. There is a place for conversations on accountability. And you can't talk about showing up consistently without talking about accountability. It's accountability that made me to show up today because I know that I have to take ownership of every action that I take. And there are consequences to every action that you take. The consequences can be positive or negative depending on the type of actions you've taken. So while you cannot control consequences, you have control over your actions. And that's why we're talking about accountability. How do you show up? When you know that there are consequences to showing up and how you show up, then you become more intentional. Recall that the conversation is on showing up. And in showing up, there are certain key things you want to be sure that are present for you to show up. Accountability is one of them. And when you unpack accountability, there's other things you see inside of it. You would see consistency. You will talk about ownership. You don't show up if you're not going to take ownership of the decisions that you will make or the actions that you will take, right? So you see some people dodge being present, either physically, emotionally, or otherwise, because they don't want to be accountable. You're in a relationship, but you're emotionally absent because you don't want to be accountable for caring, for reciprocating, and all of that. Okay? You're in an office space, you don't want your voice to be heard because you don't want it to be said that, oh, Joy said this and took this decision, and as a result, you become dodgy. So it's very important that we look at the key elements. Now, we have talked about ownership, we've talked about consistency. There's also the bit about self awareness. When you give yourself the permission to be accountable, there are certain things you begin to learn about yourself. You begin to understand your strengths, you begin to understand your weaknesses. You also begin to see areas where you need to improve on. So, accountability is at the core of growth. Show me an accountable individual. I will show you an individual who is growing or who has opened up doors for limitless possibilities. Now, there's also the bit about transparency. Yes. Being authentic, being open, you know, making sure that you discuss with people, you relate with people, you engage, and you're open as to what it is with facts, with data. So you work in a team and then you're hiding certain information. It's different where, we know that there are some privileged information, based on need to know basis. But sometimes you're in a team, and because you feel that they're giving first positions, you don't want to reveal all that you know. You will watch your team member making a mistake and you just keep quiet because you want the person to take a fall for it. You're not being accountable. Or sometimes you hide certain things and you give people half truth, and they walk on that half truth, not knowing that you've not given them the true scenario, and they run into troubled waters. So if you want to show up, please be ready to be transparent. Please be ready to be consistent. Please be ready to take ownership of your actions and decisions. Please be ready to understand who you are. It's very important. So showing up, no matter what, is based on your level of accountability. Because there's what we call answerability to it. You must be ready to explain and justify some actions or decisions that you make. So when you know that you don't just take decisions in isolation, or you don't just take decisions sentimentally, you need to be able to answer, oh, why did you take this action? I took this action because of this, because of that, and this is what I thought this out, based on this information, I did this, and you allow the person to see through your lens. But when you just take decisions out of the blues like that, it's not based on anything substantive, and you're not open to explaining, then it becomes problematic. Then that is not a way of showing up. It's not a way of showing up at all. Because when we say show up and show off, we're asking you to show up fully present. And one of the ways of being fully present is by being accountable. Exactly. Ozemazima says that's right. If you must show up, you must be consistent and accountable. The vessel says if you must show up, then you must be ready to be consistent, accept ownership, and be accountable. Chinelo says if you want to show up, be ready to be transparent, be ready to be consistent, be ready to be accountable. That's what we're talking about tonight. There's a place for accountability in showing up. So when we talk about showing up, it's not just about your dressing, it's not just about your physical presence, it's also about how you engage, it's also about what you bring to the table, it's also about, you understanding the value of certain things, like the value of being transparent, the value of answerability, the value of liability. Because when you show up, there are liabilities attached to showing up. Okay? For instance, if I showed up tonight and we're having this conversation, if there are questions here, I should be open enough to answer those questions. The ones that I think I don't have immediate response to, I should be accountable enough to say, okay, let me get back to you. There are liabilities that come with showing up. There are consequences. So when I talk about liability, I'm talking about accepting the consequences, accepting, all of those things. Making sure that you can hear me, making sure that you can see me, being fully present. How would it feel like I'm showing up now and I'm just looking moody, sad, and you'll be wondering, why is this lady showing up if she's so sad? Then she shouldn't be here. We don't want her, negative energy to rub off. So there are, liabilities with showing up. It comes with a whole lot of stuff. Zika says integrity 101. That's it. Very important. Integrity 101, very, very critical. Integrity 101, because integrity is also at the core of all of this. Very important, right? Now, there's also a place for, yes, it comes with a bit of vulnerability, Fina. Yes, yes, yes. It comes not just with a bit of vulnerability, it comes with vulnerability. Now, when you show up, you need to be willing to be vulnerable. What do I mean by being vulnerable now? You need to be vulnerable to the extent that you're open to learning, you're teachable, You're willing to accept your mistakes, right? You're willing to say, I did not get this. It should have been that, but I didn't know. You're willing to accept what you know and what you do not, but you're open to learning. I was having a conversation with my sister because just before I came on live, and we said nobody knows it all. You cannot put yourself in a position where you think you know it all. It's pride. When you're vulnerable, you invite others to be vulnerable with you. When you comment, oh, I know it all, I cannot be wrong, everything I do is perfect, is right, people will not be willing to be open to you. They won't even want to be transparent with you. They won't want to share some things with you because they feel, oh, this person is always bringing it on an air of, I know it all, I do this all. No. You see, life is always a process of give and take. There are certain things I will be learning from even my children. And it doesn't matter the age. There are things you will learn even from babies. So when you come with that openness, with that vulnerability, knowing that there are certain things you just do not know, it comes off in the way you interact with people. When you see anyone that is arrogant, that is pride, that is proud, who there's some people their ego are bigger than the house they live in. And it's so difficult, really difficult, to have conversations with those people. For instance, I'm right here in Doha. I'm here in Doha. And I told you people from the first day when I did that live conversation, right? I talked about learning, unlearning, and validating, even networking. So I've also come to learn here. I've come to learn from others. I've also come to share, right? But when you feel that you know it all, nobody can pour into you, you just, everything is all right and proper with you, then it's problematic, okay? So there has to be a place for vulnerability. There has to be a place for self-reflection. I shared with you last week, one of the things I do is a practice I do. And I make sure I do it every night. Even sometimes I don't do it sitting up. Sometimes I do it lying in bed. I must have said my prayers and I'm about going to bed, and I will just run through my day's activity in my mind. And I will ask myself, Joy, what are your key takeaways from today? What are some areas you feel you could have done better and why? What are some areas you think came out strongly for you as your strength areas? Listen, if you practice doing this every day, I tell you in 30 days you see a shift. Because you will come to realize that you don't know it all. Maybe you shouldn't have talked to this person this way. Maybe you should have come harder on this person. Maybe you should have given yourself some permission for that thing you think is a mistake, right? So these are very critical conversations you have with yourself. And then what it does is accountability opens you up to continuous learning. Because while you're having those your reflections, you can point out areas where you need to improve on. You can point out areas where you think you might need sometimes an accountability partner to help you stay on course. There is a lot. I've been having a number exactly. Zika says examining yourself. That's what it is. And an unexamined life is a life not worth living. Any life that is not evaluated periodically, you're just living your life every day. You set your goals, you think you've achieved them, you keep going on. You don't examine your life. You don't examine to see where you are, how you're doing, how you're faring. It's not worth living. It's the same thing when you're running a business. Don't you have plans? Don't you have mechanisms or systems in place to periodically evaluate your business to say, okay, are we doing well? Are we not doing well? What happened? Recently, I think I had arrived here and I sent my team a message. I said, I've done an evaluation of our financials for last quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are things we need to put in place, to make sure that we keep on track. And these are things we need to do as a business, as an individual. There's a place for accountability. Where do you think the appraisal system comes from? Even as team members, as staff members, you need to appraise. Is a form of examining what are your roles, what do you bring to the table. And sometimes, it can get very disconnecting for me when people do not want to take accountability for actions. So you're always putting out challenges. You're not looking forward to say, these are some of the solutions I think. Which one can we do? It shows someone that lacks creative initiative if every time what you do is put out challenges. And you cannot come together to say, okay, um, this is what the challenge is. And 1, 2, 3, 4 are some of the solutions I see. And then it's easier to come to a decision making. So learn the place of accountability. Now, what are some of the benefits of being accountable? The first one is that it increases trust. When I know you're accountable, when your peers know you're accountable, they trust you more. They want to deal with you more. People can come to you and say, oh, I trust Joy. If I give her this thing to deal with, she wouldn't wait until I come to her for rest. She will let me know right on time. You know how sometimes you accept to do things either in a group or in an office space or in a relationship, and then you don't go ahead to do it. When I see people who do not feel anyhow, not doing what they're supposed to do, and then you don't feel all you do is bring up excuses. Oh my goodness, I get worried. Really, it shows the person lacks accountability. So, and it will make people not to trust you because they don't know what you'll come up with. Just reflect on the relationships you have, on people in your circle. There are certain persons you would always run to. Why? You can trust the person. And there are certain persons you wouldn't give certain tasks to. Why? Because you feel they're not accountable. Okay? Then that base of improved self-confidence. When you're accountable, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect, to evaluate yourself, to examine yourself, to improve your performance. You open yourself up for continuous learning. And so when you do all of this, what happens? You find out that your capacity increases, is enhanced. You find out that you can take better decisions. Okay? And what does this do for you? Gives you an increased sense of confidence. Oh, I can do this now. Because you've gone through that process, you've evaluated, you've examined, and you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, you know how to take informed decisions. Okay? And one of the other things you see as a result of this, I'm talking about benefits of accountability, is increased productivity. It's not about doing something, but it's about the result you get out of doing it. So when you find yourself doing something, running around the circle, you're doing something 1 year, 2 year, not getting any results, you need to step back and really evaluate the process. There is something that is not right. You can't keep the same thing over and over and over again and expect to see a different result. It's just not possible. It's not just possible. Okay? Now, you also have better relationships. So if you're wondering, why should I even become accountable? What is she talking about today? What I'm talking about is if you want to have better relationship, improve your sense of accountability. People will trust you more. People will know you're reliable. People want support systems who they can trust on. I want to know when I'm in my vulnerable moments, I can lean on you. I can trust you to come through for me. I can hold you accountable to your word. Your word is your bond. I tell my team members, if I say this, then I am bound to do it. And don't give me an excuse why I cannot. Because I have thought it through. I understand the consequences of not doing it. Don't be a person that people know you throw out words, you say yes anyhow, and you're not committed to doing whatever it is you say you will do. Please don't be that kind of person. So when we are asking you to show up, please do show up in the fullness of you. So when we say show up, show off, we're saying show up in an accountable manner so you can show off. What are you showing off? You're showing off that you can be trusted, you have integrity, you're authentic, right? You understand what it means to be a team player. You understand what it means to be bound by your yes. You know that we can trust you, that when you say no, we should understand that it is no. We trust you to know that you are going to be transparent with us. That is what showing off means. You're showing off transparency. You're showing off credibility. You're showing off integrity. You're showing off self-awareness. These are what you show off when you show up. I hope we're getting it. So we want to show off all these core elements or characteristics or values. And these are critical pillars to growth. Right? These are critical pillars to growth. Values, beliefs. Very important. What values are you showing off with when you show up? What values are you showing off with when you show up? So when you show up in a room, the room is lighted because I know a person of integrity has come into my space. A person that is transparent, a person that is credible, a person that is self-aware. You're self-aware to the extent that you know that you're not in competition with anybody. When you see one who is self-aware, you will see someone who is not competing with anybody. You will see someone who is showing up to either compliment, to collaborate, or to support, but not to compete. So as we wrap up the conversations on showing up, showing off, listen, is a journey of impact. It's a journey of learning. When we had our 200th episode of Friday Night Hangout, I shared with us the story of the Friday Night Hangout. If for nothing else, because you shop for Friday Night Hangout, you can walk away with some of the lessons, right? With some of the lessons. Thank you so much, Zika. Zika says, benefits of accountability increases trust, improved self-confidence, increased productivity, better relationship. Yes, very true, you know, and it reduces stress and anxiety. Hey, you know, when you're dealing with someone that you don't know how the person will show up, you become so uncomfortable. You don't know what to get. One of the things I love and appreciate in any relationship, whether it's a work relationship or a personal relationship, is me knowing that I can trust you. That if I give you a task, I don't have to have anxiety or stress. I will just know that you will show up and you show up well because you're going to be showing off certain values. So if there's nothing else you take away from our October conversations, if there is nothing else, please take away that place of reflection where you ask yourself, what values am I going to be showing up with in life? When I show up in people's spaces, what am I showing off? What am I showing off? What are you projecting? You don't want to be a person that is causing people stress and anxiety all the time. You know, there are certain persons you deal with, is always drama, is always stress. You just cannot tell what is going to come out of every time, you know. And I hate dramas. I really do hate dramas. And a number of people do not love drama, especially when the drama is negative, toxic. Nobody wants it. So when you want to show up ready to show off all of these things we've talked about. What are you projecting exactly? That's a key question you need to ask yourself. What kind of energy? We all exude energy when we show up. So you need to be conscious about it. What energy am I exuding? What energy am I projecting when I'm showing up? And when you know that there's an energy that you project, that you exude, you become more intentional in how you engage. Oh my goodness. I could talk about this for hours. One of the things I enjoy about myself is my gift of observation. I observe more than I talk. So oftentimes maybe in my space and you don't know I'm observing. And I've been blessed with the gift of discernment. And so I try to understand people's energy. I try to understand the value so I know how to deal with you. I know what level to deal with you. So you need to be very careful. When you're showing up, it's not, there has to be a celebration to it, but before the celebration, there are other things that come before that. There are other things. Okay, so just to wrap up the conversation we've had tonight, remember we're wrapping up the conversation on show up, show off, and tonight we talked about accountability. And we said accountability really is about taking ownership for your actions and decisions, right? And then we went ahead to look at the key elements of personal accountability. We talked about a whole number of things, and then we went on to look at the benefits of accountability. And that's where we're wrapping up the conversation tonight. But before I go, you know me, I'll always love to give you a charge, a call to action, something you can run and, do a lot of things with. I'm going to ask you three key questions I want you to reflect on tonight. The first one I want you to do is, remember I said an unexamined life is a life not worth living. Can you examine yourself and then look at your level of accountability? How do you show up? I want you to identify areas where you're not showing up very well. And then it's not just enough to identify them. I also want you to put down your commitments. For some of us, it may be that we need to defeat procrastination. I know there are a number of reasons. You might have a number of excuses. But listen, listen, listen. You know, excuses will always be there. Excuses will always be there. You need to find a way of working around it. And that's why you need to be self-aware. That's why you need to be self-aware. I've sat on the seat of procrastination. Oh my goodness. You need to ask yourself key questions. Is it because I'm afraid? Is it because I lack the skill? Is it because the passion is not there? There are a number of things you need to ask yourself, for you to deal with procrastination. We're going to talk about procrastination, I think, if not this year, but sometime next year. And then finally, before I run off, I want to invite you to join our discovery group, the WhatsApp group. Is for the Rediscover and Thrive Retreats 2025. It's just for women, and it's not for all women. It's for women who have understood their purpose, who already know what they've been called to do. But they're in a season, at every point where you are transitioning, at every point where, there are new things you need to do, it comes with a level of vulnerability. And then you want to find a safe space where you can fully internalize the season you're going into, where you can fully internalize, all that you want to do to enable you to be all that God has called you to be, or to enable you to serve those you've been called to serve very well. Then the Rediscover and Drive Retreat is for you. The link is in the comment section. Just click the link and join us in the WhatsApp group. We'll tell you more about, the Discover and Thrive Retreat coming up in 2025 in Lagos. January 8th to 10th is a place where you can come in and really sit in a safe space, internalize this, your goals for 2025 and beyond, your action plan, what you need to be doing. There's a lot that has been placed in our hands. And a number of us are sitting on what it is in our hand, either because we are afraid, we feel we do not have the capacity, or we're overwhelmed. And if you're someone who pours into others, someone who has a tribe behind her, then you understand what I'm talking about. And this retreat is for those kind of women. This is where you come to rest, to rejuvenate, to re energize, to re strategize, to rediscover, and get ready for your next big season. So just click on the link in the comment section, join our WhatsApp group, join the conversations for the Discover and Thrive Retreats 2025, January 8th to 10th, and I look forward to hosting you. Now, if you have any questions for me, you can just put it in the comment section and I will try and respond to it in our next Friday night hangout. And if this is your first time really of coming to the Friday night hangout, before I go, I want to say thank you so much. I know we're 5 minutes over, but the Doha energy is on me right now, the Doha energy is on me right now, and I'm feeling so energized. And this is one topic I'm so passionate about, showing up, showing off, especially in the bit of accountability, right? Um, Thank you, Fina. Fina is a whole experience. Fina is the CEO of Redolence Kitchen. She's our official chef for the Discover and Thrive retreat, and she does a whole lot of meals. You can hit her up for your meals. If you're in Lagos, she can send to you. She also travels to cater for your needs. Thank you so much, Redolence Kitchen. Fina Ezenwa. I appreciate you and I celebrate you tonight. Okay? I celebrate everyone else here. Thank you for taking your time to come listen to us. And please, if you came late, not to worry, watch the replay and join us next week, Friday. I have another exciting conversation for you, and you surely don't want to miss that conversation. Until I see you next week, from me to you is to tell you that I love you, I honor you, and I celebrate you. Keep being you. Give yourself the permission to smell the roses, and don't forget to make out time to examine your life. Okay? Examine your life, keep holding on, and just know that your dreams are valid. You can be all that you have dreamt, and I just love you all the time. I just love it. I want you to be the best version of yourself, not for anyone else. Okay, I'm 7 minutes above time. I love you all. See you, see you, see. Oh, I see Mercy Bunny. Mercy Bunny. Hey, thank you so much. Mercy is my loctician. She's my hair, whatever. Tonight is just a night of so much fun. This is the Doha energy coming out right here. And just follow my page. I'm going to give you some updates tomorrow, okay? If I still have some more energy tonight, I would. If not tomorrow, it's been a very wonderful conference experience here. A lot of nuggets, a lot of sharing, a lot of validation, and a lot of learning. Okay, thank you so much. Love you. See you next week, Friday. Love you so much. From my team and myself, is bye for now.